Greetings from Ecuador. I'm Daniel Hidalgo, and this is my final project for this EDX MOOC Soil for Life. Between several and diverse soil threats that affect soil, I'm going to talk about soil pollution, because this is a driver of other threats like biodiversity decline, compaction, loss of soil fertility, and water quality, which is also a threat to human health and its development. We could spend days and days talking about soil pollution because the diversity of soil pollutants is wide. So I will narrow this presentation to one single organic pollutant which can enter the environment either as point source pollution or as non-point source pollution. Can you guess what I'm talking about? I'm talking about pollution by petroleum. The chosen area isn't known as Ecuadorian Amazon region, specifically in Provincia de Orellana, Canton Joya de los Sachas. Joya de los Sachas in short is Sacha. Sacha is in a small town of 1,205 square kilometers, which lives on agriculture, like we see here, with the palm, but also with petroleum industry. Here we can see an old petroleum well that is not used anymore.
Sacha is almost a flat place, with peaks no higher than 270 meters over the sea level. It is a tropical wet region with yearly precipitation between 2,650 to 4,500 millimeters. Rainy season is all the year. However, between December and February is a little bit dry. Humidity gets up to 90% and most of the time the sky is cloudy. This is a hot place, with an average temperature of 28 Celsius, an historical maximum of 42 and a minimum of 18. Let's talk about the soil. There are several profiles, but we can summarize saying that they are mostly clay soils. 19% of the land remains as native forest, 28% is under the category of intervened forest. From the remaining 53%, less than 1% is used for urban areas, 3% is covered by water bodies, and the other 48% is devoted to agriculture on different stages. The remaining 1% is used for the petroleum industry facilities, wells, pumping stations, and pipelines. In this case, the main problem is soil pollution. And now let's talk about the extent. Petroleum facilities only use 1% of the land, but this 1% is spread over 45% of the total land surface. So, its potential effects cover much more than the 1%, and the pollution can be local or also can be spread in a wide area. The main effects of this problem are soil compaction, soil erosion, less soil biodiversity, water pollution, toxicity, and social conflicts. The drivers of the problem are derived from the exploitation itself, especially at the beginning of the operation around 1974. In Sacha, more than 230 spills had occurred. From them, 27% were caused for attacks, 30% for corrosion, 19% for equipment malfunction, 16% for human errors, and 8% for unknown reasons. 5 groups of stakeholders were identified. First, the attackers, people who damage petroleum facilities to get an income derived from the cleaning process. Second, the lawmakers, people who modify laws to strengthen the punishment for intentional spills. Third, the petroleum workers, they are the ones who have to check the condition of equipment and facilities to avoid corrosion, malfunction, or human failures. Fourth, the petroleum industry authorities, who have to take decisions and work finding enough resources to maintain facilities, modernize technology, and train the current workers. And the most important group, the community. People who live in polluted environments and have to deal with the associated toxicity and loss of soil fertility. If nothing is done, the following will happen. First, affection of water infiltration and disturbance of the whole soil-water process, with the formation of puddles, with no water available for roots, and soil erosion, with the consequences of no food service, no carbon sequestration, and nutrient cycling not balanced anymore. Second, The contaminant might pollute groundwater, since local people use wastewater, so will be more toxicity and health problems. Third, biodiversity changes. Some species might not survive on this polluted environment, meanwhile other species will find less competence. In consequence, loss of genetic resources. And fourth, socioeconomic consequences. People cannot use land for agriculture. If so, food might be toxic or low quality. Then these communities depend on central subsidies, which puts more pressure on the national budget, and also increase on health cost and death rate. 5 measures can be taken. First, mapping the affected zones and investigate the history to localize ancient spills and other polluting problems. Second, government must invest on remediation processes to clean up polluted places, not only soil but groundwater as well. Third, once soil is cleaned, it is necessary to find sustainable activities to local people, so they don't depend on petroleum industry anymore. Sustainable activities can be sustainable agriculture and sustainable tourism. Fourth, strong laws under the consign: who pollutes a place must pay its cleaning, but only the central government will carry on the remediation process. This is to avoid more attacks. And fifth, strong program on prevention for petroleum companies. They must have state-of-the-art technology, appropriate maintenance to facilities, and training to workers. How do I see the future? Biophysical effects. Soil-water process become normal again since water can infiltrate into the soil, and genetic resources are explored, developing new industries in the country. The nutrient cycling processes is recovered and land is used for agriculture, avoiding cutting down native forests. The groundwater is not polluted anymore, and the landscape is more attractive for tourism. The socio-economic effects. Low rates of cancer and gastrointestinal diseases, reaching the national or international averages. The central government has to invest less money on treating the above-mentioned diseases, and local communities mostly live on sustainable agriculture and sustainable tourism. In this video, I try to show up the main causes and consequences of soil pollution by petroleum in a relatively narrow area of 1,205 square kilometers. However, this problematic can be a copy-paste in some parts of the world. The main driver for this kind of pollution is vandalism. People living on areas under the influence of petroleum industry must have another alternatives for income, so they won't have the necessity to perform these acts anymore. Then, the central government has two main responsibilities: to create sustainable economic activities and also to clean up the polluted places. One thing was left out on previous slides. The remediation process could easily take more than 20 years because of the volume of soil to be treated, more than 5 million of cubic meters. And don't forget groundwater. So, there is a lot of work. The good news, there are solutions and are technically feasible, so it's only a matter of decision to get human and economic resources. Thanks for watching this video.
Tell me, why do the children play?